Hi, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day to everyone. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the topic of group behavior, teams and conflict under the industrial and organizational psychology. Under this topic, we are going to discuss three main categories which involve in group behavior, teams and conflicts, which are groups, teams and group conflicts. In the first part, we are going to look into factors that affects the group performance. Okay, at least there are many factors there. So we're going to look what are the factors which influence how a group of people, a group of workers perform in their job. And then secondly, we are going to discuss on teams. What is the difference between groups and teams? Okay, we're going to look into what it meant by work team, and we look into types of teams. And in the last part, we are going to discuss in more details on group conflicts, okay, which is very important in organizational settings, on how to recognize, how to handle, how to manage, and how to resolve group conflict. Under this topic, we are going to discuss types of conflicts, and then we're going to look what are the factors that cause conflict to happen. And then we are going to look into conflict styles, and lastly, how to resolve the conflict. Okay, in the first part, this is where we are going to discuss about the groups. Okay, when we talk about group, we are referring to how group can work together. In other words, which is group dynamic. Okay, there are at least 4 criteria of a group, okay, for us to be considered as a group. Sometimes, even though the employees work in the same organization, in the same institution, in the same company, they are not working in the same groups. So what are considered as a group? So to be considered as a group, first, the members of the group must see themselves as a unit. Okay, they belong to the groups. Okay, for example, if you are working in a higher education institution, in university, for example, so there are 3 categories. There are 3 main categories of employees, which are academics, which is the teaching staff, and then there are professional management staff, and then there are support staff. Okay, there are support staff who are working for the technicians, okay, to support the operation of the organizations. So most of the time, if you go and ask them, they will recognize themselves, okay, to the group that they belong to. Okay, the management staff, okay, the academic staff or the support staff. So it shows that they themselves must see them as a unit. In this case, they see themselves as academics, or they see themselves as management, or they see themselves as support staff. The second criteria is the group must provide rewards to its members. Okay, rewards can be in terms of materialistics, okay, in terms of monetary rewards, or in terms of gift and etc. Or it could be in the terms of motivational or self-sufficient reinforcement, okay, such as praise, okay, recognitions, okay, accomplishment when they become members of the group. And thirdly, anything that happens to one member of the group affects every other member. Okay, so if some groups happens to perform poorly, and then the performance of that members also affects the performance of the groups. And lastly, the members of the group must share a common goal. Okay, remember when I give you the 3 examples of 3 categories of employees in higher education institutions, they share the same goals. Okay, for academics, they have the academics goal. For the management, they have management goals, and for the support staff, they have their own goals. Okay, so that is the criteria, okay, the 4 criteria to consider a group, okay, a number of employees to belong to the same groups of employees, okay, the same groups in the same organization. Okay, there are 8 factors that can influence employees' performance, okay, group performance. In this case, group performance factors affecting group performance. Firstly, group cohesiveness. We're going to look into detail after this. Secondly, group ability and confidence. Thirdly, personality of the group members. Fourthly, communication structure. Fifth, group roles. Sixth, presence of others, okay, the effects of presence of others. 7, individual dominance, how a person can be dominant in a group and how it affects the group thing and then the group performance. And lastly, we're going to look the concept of group think. Okay, so the first factor that can influence the performance of a group is group cohesiveness. Okay, what is group cohesiveness? Group cohesiveness refers to the extent to which group members, okay, all of the members, like and trust one another, like between each other, okay, like between members. They are committed to accomplishing a team goals and they share a feeling of group pride. So there are three aspects there. Okay, for a group to have a cohesion, okay, or group that have high cohesiveness, okay, they must trust each other. Okay, and then they are committed, okay, they put on efforts, okay, they are committed to accomplish the team goals, okay, the group goals, and then they must share the feeling of group pride, okay, they belong to the groups. Okay, group cohesiveness has many positive effects. Okay, it has many positive effects. That's why it is one of the most important factors that influence the group performance. Okay, among others, like I mentioned just now, group cohesion, okay, group cohesiveness affects group performance. Okay, it affects decision quality. Okay, as compared to groups which are do not have cohesion, and then their members satisfied with the group, other group members, and with the work and with the job that been performed by the groups. Okay, member satisfaction and member interaction. Group that have high cohesiveness, they will see that there are high levels of activity or high levels of interaction between all of the group members. And lastly, employee courtesy. Okay, because they belong to the groups, okay, they treat all the members as part of their own group, okay, as part of their social network, as part of their circle. So they have this courtesy among each other. So group cohesion is very important factor for the performance of the groups. Second, okay, the second factors that affect the performance of the group is the group ability and group confidence. Okay, group consisting of high ability members, they usually outperform those with low ability members. Okay, if you have two groups, one group more or less have high levels of ability and another group have low levels of ability, so the group that have high levels of ability members, they outperform the group who have low ability members. Group whose members believe that their team can be successful both at a specific task and tasks in general perform better than group whose members are not as confident about their probability for success. Okay, the first one is about ability, the second one is about confidence. If you are members of a group that have high confidence, that have high efficacy, that have high potential, you will perform better as compared to other groups. Other groups who are not sure or have low confidence or have less confidence as compared to the other groups, okay, they will perform poorly as compared to group that have high confidence. Okay, that is the second factor. The third factor that affects group performance is personality of group members. Okay, personality of group members. Group whose members have task-related experience and score high in the personality dimension of openness to experience and emotional stability, they will perform better than group whose members do not have this characteristic. Okay, so if you have the choice, okay, if you have the options to choose your group members, choose your group members who have high in openness to experience. Why? Because these are the people who will perform better in a group task. Groups working on intellectual tasks will do better if their group members are bright. Of course, if you have an intelligent, clever group members, then if you have to do any assignment, task, test, take-home test related to intellectual ability, then you will perform better if your group member are intelligent or are clever as well. So groups working on physical tasks, okay, sports team, will do better if their group members score high in the personality dimension of conscientiousness, extraversion, and agreeableness. Okay, if you are working in a sport or physical groups. Okay, if in this case you need to avoid people who have high neuroticism or emotional instability, and then high openness to experience. Okay, because these three, conscientiousness, extraversion, and agreeableness, has been found to have positive effects on the physical task. Okay, so next is communication structure. Okay, communications also influence how groups performs to fulfill or to complete their task. Okay, what is communication structure? Communication structure, also known as communication network. Okay, the ways members of a group communicate with one another. So we have 4 types of communication structure. Okay, we have communication chains. Okay, we have communication centralized, we have communication circles, and then we have open communication. Okay, if the communication structure for your group is open, everybody, all members of your groups can talk to each other without any condition, without any restriction. You can talk to each other. Okay, there is no problems. If you are living, or if you are a member of group that apply communication structure of circle, okay, circle communication structure, okay, you can see the pattern of the communication. Say for example, you have 4 members. Okay, say for example Firdaus, and then Aisha, and then Zul, and then Adam. Okay, 4. So you can see in the circles, Firdaus will not go and speak directly or communicate directly to Adam. Okay, the circle will be Firdaus will talk to Aisha. Aisha will not go and talk directly to Adam. Instead, Aisha will talk to Zul. Zul will talk to Adam. Adam will talk to Firdaus. So it's a circle. Okay, a circle. So that is circle communication structure. For a centralized communication structure, here we can see if it is if you have a leader in the groups, and then all of you communicate to the leaders, and in return leaders communicate to others. Okay, so you have one person who we can regard him or her as the leader of the groups. So A will talk to him, okay, B will talk to him, C will talk to him, and then in return the leader will talk to A, to B, and to C. Okay, so it's a centralized communication structure. Another one is chain. Chain is similar to the circle communication structure. However, remember Firdaus, Aisha, Zul, and Adam. Okay, when Firdaus talks to Aisha, Aisha talks to Zul, Zul talks to Adam, Adam can talk again back to Firdaus. Okay, but for the chain structure, Adams do not talk back to Firdaus. So it's only one way. Okay, it's one way. Firdaus talk to Aisha, Aisha talk to Zul, Zul talk to Adams. A, B, C, D. So it's a change. Okay, it's one way communication structure. So here sometimes we don't realize it, and in fact most of the times we don't even implement. Okay, when you are assigned to a group task, and then okay, you say that in the first meeting we are going to apply open communication structure. Okay, you don't say that, and you don't put it as your group policy or group rules. Instead, you just do what are familiar, what are comfortable to you, who are the closest to you, for example. So without realizing it, you are applying centralized communication structure. Okay, without realizing it, you are applying circle communication structure. Okay, it's happened even without we try to implement them. But of course, each structure have its own advantage and disadvantages. And then when you have group conflict, for example, or interpersonal conflict between your group members, so you need to go and investigate what is the structure that you guys are applying, okay, even without realizing it, and then how can you solve those interpersonal or group conflicts. Okay, the next factor that can influence group performance is group roles. Okay, group roles. There are three types of roles: task-oriented roles, social-oriented roles, and individuals-oriented roles. Okay, for a groups to be a successful groups, to complete their jobs successfully, to complete their task successfully, they need to avoid individual roles. Okay, because individual roles are problematic. Okay, problematic in the form of, if you want to work in a group. Why is individual roles? Individual roles, if some of the member or one of the member have these individual roles, they are blocking group activities. Okay, calling attentions to oneself, okay, to the members itself, and avoiding group interaction. So these are the type of problematic group members. In order for us to be successful in our group tasks, in our groups, we need to adopt either one. Okay, task-oriented roles or social-oriented roles. And it could be ideal if we have both types of members in our group, so that we can achieve our target at the same time, not so serious and less pressure and less stress among the group. For example, task-oriented roles, they are offering new ideas. If you have this type of members, they offer new ideas. Okay, they coordinate activities and they find new informations for the groups. Okay, so you need this kind of people. Okay, you need this kind of group members. Another type of group member is social oriented roles. So they encourage cohesiveness and participation. Okay, even though they don't contribute directly to completing the task, such as offering ideas, but they are the one who keep all of the group members cohesive, all of the group members happy. They are harmony in the group. So you need both type of members. But of course, if you have all members who are socially oriented roles, you might have problems in terms of producing a quality group output. Okay, so but your group will have a very good interpersonal relationships. On the other hand, if you have task-oriented roles, everyone in the group members are task-oriented. So here you will complete the jobs efficiently, but you might be sacrificing the mental health, the harmony side of your groups. Okay, both can work. Okay, both can work, but it will be ideal if in your group have both types of members, task-oriented and social-oriented. But you need to avoid individuals oriented group members. Okay, next, presence of others. Without realizing it, the presence of other people in the groups can affect individual performance and the group performance as well. Okay, the presence of others. So it can be in the form of two: social facilitation or social inhibition. One is positive, one is negative. Social facilitation, the presence of others, sometimes the presence of your boss, okay, sometimes the presence of your superior, sometimes the presence of other group members. Okay, these will give positive effects that occur when these persons perform a task in the presence of others. Okay, so you are, for example, you are discussing about your group assignment and etc., your group projects, and then your lecturers come to your group's discussion, and then suddenly you all become very active, become very, have many ideas. You are brainstorming and works very diligently. So that is social facilitation. The presence of others gives positive effects. On the other hand, it could be social inhibition. Okay, for examples, you are answering the exams. Okay, all the ideas are flowing in. Okay, you are writing. Suddenly, your lecturers walk in and stop by your table and look at your answers. And suddenly, you stop writing, and you somehow try to cover your answers. Okay, from the flowing of ideas, now you become blank. Okay, that could be social inhibition. The negative effects that occur when a person performs a task in the presence of others. in a group setting, okay, in a group setting, especially early on when you start to form the groups, you can see there are some people, okay, some personality, when they are in your groups, your group becomes very active, okay, very efficient, very effective, okay, and you can realize that, and hopefully it's not you, when there are people, there are certain personality, when they involve in group assignment, in group tasks, for example, the group becomes problematic, okay, always complain, always think negatively, don't want to work hard, always blame others. Okay, that's an example of social inhibition. When the person's presence in your groups become less or not effective or not efficient in performing the task. Okay, and then this is the second last. Okay, the number 7. The 7 factors that can influence group performance is individual's dominance. Okay, what is individual dominance? Individual dominance happen when one member of a group dominates the group. Okay, dominates the group. Okay, usually we will appoint a group leader, and the group leader will facilitate or will dictate the decision making, okay, the problem solving process in your groups. But it could happen informally as well. You don't appoint any leaders, but someone who are very strong character, charismatic, okay, take the responsibility, lead the conversations, making the decisions, okay, coordinating between others. Okay, there are some people who have those characteristics. Okay, it could be the leader, or it could be some other members who have dominant personality. Okay, if the leader, okay, the so-called person who assume that roles has an accurate solution, okay, to solve any problems, then the group will perform at high levels. Okay, if you have the dominant people who are intelligent, who are effective, who have wisdoms, then your group will perform better. On the other hand, if the dominant person is basically not really task oriented, okay, always wants to excuse and take the easy ways, okay, don't care about the performance, for example, then your group performance will also be affected. Okay, if the leader of the group member has an inaccurate solution, okay, the dominant person, you will end up the group, okay, they will lead the group astray, and then it will perform poorly. So a group of highly intelligent members perform poorly when its leader is not very intelligent, or the dominant members of the group is not intelligent, even though all of other group members are intelligent. So be careful. Okay, the last one is groupthink. Okay, groupthink. We somehow do not recognize that when we are going or involved in a group's discussion, in group tasks, one way or another, we are being influenced by the presence of others, or by influenced by the other members, or we are influencing the groupthink. Okay, so we don't realize it. So what is groupthink? Groupthink is a state of mind in which group is so concerned about its own cohesiveness that it ignores important information. Okay, remember we talked the first factor is group cohesiveness. Okay, it's very important because it can influence performance. But without realizing it, when we are in the group, because we want to take care of our friends, our members, emotions, okay, their feelings. Okay, we don't want to offend anybody in the group, and the group members. So we are falling into the trap of groupthink. Groupthink can be positive. Groupthink can also have negative effects. Okay, so factors that influence groupthinks include group is cohesive. Okay, group is cohesive, so we more or less we don't want to have different opinion, or we don't want to have disagreement between our members. Okay, so why groupthink happen? The second reason is because group is insulated from qualified outsiders. Okay, when you have high cohesion, okay, when your group have high are cohesive between members, so it's very difficult for certain members to accept outside or opinion or division or recommendation by people who are not member of the group, even though their opinion is better, okay, their strategy is better, their solution is better than your group solution. Okay, why group thing happen? Group has an illusion of invulnerability or infallibility. Okay, in other words, okay, you are afraid that if you accept or open to other people's opinion, division, influence on certain decision, okay, and they are not member of your groups, okay, you feel insecure. Okay, you feel insecure, your group member feel insecure, so you want to stick with your own group decision or group thing. Okay, another factors that influence group thing is group believe that it is morally superior to its adversaries. Okay, in other words, all of you in group members think that you are better than the other groups or than the other persons. Group is under great pressure to conform. Okay, so for example that you have 5 group members and then 4 of the group members decide on A, and then one of the member, okay, the 5th member decide on B, and then there is another opinion not in your from your group members say that it should be B, and then the B persons, okay, the 5th person who said B might be following the other decision of the 4th person, okay, because they have pressure to conform with the group members. Okay, it's also related to how dominant the person is in the group. Okay, what are other factors that influence group thing is group has a leader who promotes a favorite solution. Okay, this is problematic. When you have high cohesion, okay, and then you appoint leader, and leaders don't evaluate it, okay, in fairness, okay, don't evaluate it from all angle, from all perspective, and have favorite solution, okay, have already predetermined decisions without discussing with all other members, you will have problem as well. Because of what? You don't want to go against the group leader that you have high cohesion with. Okay, so you might you might be falling into the trap of group thing. And lastly, group has gatekeepers who keep information from other members. Okay, you have one of your members who know most of the thing or all of the things, but when discussing, he or she do not portray or do not give you the full information, the comprehensive information about the matters. So you all might be falling into group thing. Okay, this is always happen even during your studies times. Okay, and then it will happen a lot when you start working. Okay, so this is what these are all the 8 factors that affects the performance of a group.